Hi, it's Panda Movies here. Today I'm going to explain the horror movie called Phantasm Ravager. Warning, there are spoilers ahead. Enjoy the video. The film begins with Reggie wandering the desert, returning from where he traveled at the end of the previous film. Reggie is guided by a passing pilot driving Reggie's Barracuda, throws the thief, but suddenly two bullets fly past. One bullet kills the thief while the other pursues Reggie. To fend off the bullets, Reggie suddenly wakes up in the hospital, much older, in a wheelchair, and suffering from dementia. Mike is with him, and they discuss the realities surrounding Reggie's condition. In a seemingly dreamlike world, Reggie meets a woman who thinks he is a friend. Since his car isn't working, he offers to drive her home. They go to a farm, and Reggie discovers that a Bulgarian named Demeter also works there. Reggie tells her about his dealings with the big man over the years, and she is captivated by his story. He tries his usual Ladywood, but is politely declined. Later, the big man appears on crutches. Reggie dreams of being hospitalized again, but this one seems to go back to the 1860s. Jebediah Morningside, the great man's possessed undertaker/scientist, lies next to him in his bed. Jebediah explains that he is near death and has lost many friends, but his face suddenly transforms into that of a colossal gentleman. And Reggie notices that the lady, adorned in a lavender-like hue, is physically intertwined with him. They warn him, emphasizing that he cannot escape their clutches. At dawn, Reggie goes in search of Dawn, the woman he has kidnapped, only to find that she has been shot and wounded. Armed with a shotgun, Reggie prepares. The bullets knock him into the nearby building, specifically the barn. He confronts a person with a wood-cutting tool, which later turns out to be Demeter. A well-aimed bullet kills the mount, while another punches through the stable door, ending Demeter's existence before Reggie can fend off the attacker. Again, Reggie talks to Mike at the hospital. Mike reveals information about a looming new threat. Reggie then continues his sojourn in the realm of dreams, traversing the tree room. Along the way, he encounters an immensity that floats in the firmament, like a sphere of considerable proportions, only to awaken within the walls of the hospital. Reggie appears to emerge from another realm, manifesting in both his reverie and the present moment. The tall man introduces himself and talks about instances where their paths have crossed over time. In 1978, accidentally misspelt 1979, Reggie attended a ceremony commemorating the dead at the Morningside mortuary, marking the beginning of his descent into an inevitable nightmare. The great character makes Reggie an offer, offering to give back his loved ones in exchange for him relinquishing his involvement in the great man's affairs. Reginald, the main character, finds himself in a dark morgue, where he first fights small individuals and then meets a lady dressed in a lavender-like hue. Reggie, armed with a pistol, aims and fires, seemingly incapacitating her. As he moves forward, Reggie enters a cavernous room and fires his gun at the dwarf creature, causing a tremor in the area. The big man questions Reggie about his thoughts on the proposal but after Reggie retaliates, the big man reiterates that his options are dwindling. Reggie longs to bring his comrades Jody and Mike back, but the big man sees Reggie's devotion to his friends as a reckless sentiment. Then Reggie dives into another reverie where he mixes dreams and nightmares. Strapped to a wheeled stretcher, Reggie finds himself in the presence of armed and masked figures. One person identifies themselves as Chunk, and another, previously believed dead, reveals her identity as Jane, although Reggie remembers her as Dawn. Jane, believing Reggie is delusional, calls other people to attend to Reggie's medical needs. Despite Reggie's attempts to convince Jane of her prior knowledge, she eventually provides him with much-needed medical attention. They are then attacked by an onslaught of dwarf figures and undertakers, but Chunk appears as Reggie's savior and arms him. Dawn, Chunk, and Reggie take refuge with their comrades while fighting the High One. Reggie reunites with Mike, and they escape the medical facility together. In a revealing revelation, Mike reveals that Reggie has been in limbo for a decade, leading her to conclude that the current year is 1998, while also lamenting the great man's current dominance of Earth. In Dreamland, Reggie wanders the medical facility's labyrinthine corridors, only to be immediately ordered by a nurse to retire to his assigned room. In the nightmare world, the opponent captures it by grabbing it with their claws. A spiked bullet then obliterates one of Reggie's benevolent allies. On the hospital grounds, Mike visits Reggie and reveals that his sleep gives him a sense of direction. Mike reveals that he also had a daydream in which he was crossing a lonely desert in search of Reggie. Surprisingly, despite the extraction of the skull sphere, Mike maintains contact with the big man. Mike explains how the great man caused a devastating epidemic that unleashed a worldwide catastrophe and decimated all of society. Unfortunately, Jane falls into the clutches of the big man. As a result, Chunk, Mike, and Reggie embark on an odyssey through a dimensional fork and venture into the domain of the High Man. On an optimistic planet, they confront the tall man and his henchmen, albeit at the cost of Jane's life. Chunk takes the form of a dwarf alongside the big man and sacrifices himself by detonating an explosive in order to destroy her nemesis. Back at the hospital, Reggie bravely fights Graves' hordes alongside Mike. Jody materializes in the Barracuda, equipped with built-in weapons, so machine guns are on board to recover them. After a long journey by road, the unanimous decision to travel north is made as the frigid conditions prevent the big man from advancing. In Dreamland, Reggie seems to breathe his last while Mike and Jody sit by his bedside, culminating in the film's conclusion. In the cut credits sequence, Chunk materializes through a dimensional bifurcation along a barren, limbless artery and encounters Rocky's presence. Chunk engages in playful banter and asks if he has a chance as he wants to get her perspective. In response to the flirtatious exchange, Rocky quips, "Given the conspicuous absence of other male companions, your chances are good." However, their dialogue is quickly cut short when Team arrives at the fearsome Barracuda, demanding Chunk and Rocky find them. The vast expanse of sky reveals many colossal orbs that hover ominously above the decimated metropolises, serving as a poignant testament to the ongoing conflict with the great man.